Hello there, welcome to this video, and on this video I'm going to be reacting to the new Beatles tune. The new tune that the Beatles have just put out. Even though half of them are dead, they have put out a new tune, and it's called Now and Then. Now, I've seen people on Facebook talking about this. I know nothing about this. I don't know how it's been made. Obviously, they haven't gone into the studio and made it like they used to in the 1960s because two of them are no longer with us. So they obviously, there's some new AI, barrel scraping piece of software that's allowed them to perhaps, scrape some vocal off some demo that John Lennon made at some point, which he decided not to turn into a song back in the old days. But now we're back in the new days. That stuff has got currency, hasn't it? This is how the internet works. If they could scrape this stuff together. Now, this might be a great song. I'm going to react to it in a minute. But, I start off from the position of thinking, well, if they could scrape this together and get it up on YouTube, they're going to make some money, and I'm here making YouTube videos, and I want to make some money as well. So this is why I'm reacting to it like a horrible leech. I'm like a horrible leech on the side of the Beatles' legacy, hoping that some of the sunshine that is shining on this new track that they've just created with the old barrel scraping bit of software, that some of that sunshine will shine on me maybe a little bit. And you're here, right, not just listening to this new song, but you're also here watching me react to it. Now, when I watch reaction videos, I am always a bit upset that they're not really reaction videos. I really know nothing about this song. I haven't heard it. And you're not going to hear me listen to it because I want my video to be monetized. I don't want the Beatles demonetizing this video. This is purely just a crass attempt to get viewers, to get my channel out there for more people and make me more money, you see. That's what this is really about. This is what you're watching. I have no real interest in the Beatles. You guys know that I like jazz rock and jazz fusion, and if you are the casual listener that has come here because you are a Beatles fan and you don't know who I am, I'll tell you now, this is a crass attempt to make some money out of the legacy of the Beatles. This is what I'm doing here. And because of that, I do not want you to hear the tune, because YouTube, who also want to make money out of it, their little AI software will spot that I've put this song in mine and they will demonetize me. So you're just going to have to watch me react. This is a true reaction. I'm going to put the tune on and you'll be able to watch me react right now. And you will watch this and it will make me money. Right? So shall we have a go then? I'm going to start it off there. It's called Now and Then, which is, it's a good title because you understand, it's like, it's now and then. Back then, they used to have bands that were amazing, that would go to a recording studio and they'd sit and they'd bring some song in and they'd go, that song's crap, but this one's good, and then they'd work it up together and they'd have George Martin in the best recording studio in the world and he would capture some magic and they'd put that magic onto an album and you'd listen to it and it would create this huge legacy. That was then. And now we have the old barrel scraping going on, and anything, if someone happened to capture, John Lennon on a video recorder in the late 70s, and he sat there in the garden whistling a tune. Oh, what's that whistling? Maybe we could make that into the next Beatles song. But let's have a listen to the quality of it, shall we? So I'm going to start off right now. I know nothing about this. You've got to understand, I haven't done no research on this. So when I get to the end of my reaction, I will be making assumptions that are probably completely wrong. But that does not matter because you're watching and I'm making money. The Beatles are making money. YouTube's making money. We're all making money. Let's go. I can hear Paul McCartney counting the song off. Acoustic guitar comes in, 2 chords. It has the sheen of modern production. Doesn't sound like the Beatles. Who's that singing there? Is that Paul singing? It's pretty depressing, this is. If I make it through, it's all because of you. Drums come in, second verse, same as the first verse. whilst he's on, I might put some other music underneath so I don't seem ridiculous just not listening. But it won't be the Beatles, it'll be off Pixabay or something. I'll get some music that I won't demonetize my channel. That's really important. I love you, chorus. Oh, lovely Ringo fill there. To the chorus. Oh, nice modulation. We've got all strings in there, full Beatles production. We got that sort of Sergeant Pepper dun, 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 thing going on with the strings in the background. But the production's all big and fat. This could be Ringo on drums, it just could be a plug-in, I don't know. Pre-chorus is nice, got nice suspended chords there. Here we are at the chorus again. No, arpeggios, not that Beatlesy, we have these piano arpeggios then, up and down. Now I've got a guitar solo coming in. Now what's this guitar solo? It's just like a slide guitar solo. It's obviously not George Harrison, or maybe they'd be able to, you know, scrape the George Harrison barrel and find some bit of guitaring that they've been able to twist through the use of digital technology into something that fits this song. Into middle section. Oh, there's like a choir effects in the background. Back to a verse. I expected them to go to the chorus here, but we've got another sort of slide guitar solo playing the melody from the pre-chorus while we get the Beatles strings. Chink, chink. Oh, we've a little 6/8. A little 6/8 ending there, which was quite nice. That took me by surprise. Shall we see what it says on the video now? Let's see. So say I've just listened to that for the first time. It was alright, wasn't it? So it's a tune, isn't it? Sounds like the Beatles. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Now and Then's eventful journey to fruition took place over 5 decades. It's the product of conversations and collaborations between the 4 Beatles that go on to this day. See, all 4 of them are still talking to this day. You know, so the Beatles never went away. They're still a band. You see, they're still a band. There's a thing called the Beatles and they still go because they still talk to each other. All 4 of them do. The long mythologized John Lennon demo was first worked on in February 95 by Paul, George and Ringo. See, 3 of them worked on this demo. 3 of them did. They've all worked on it as part of the Beatles anthology project, but it remained unfinished, partly because of the impossible technological challenges involved in working with the vocal John had recorded on the tape in the 70s. They had no way of getting that vocal off that tape in the old days. You know, it's probably some thing that he just thrown down, you know, in his kitchen at some point with, you know, press record and play on his little recorder and he's jammed something down or a dictaphone. So we got this awful vocal and we got a John Lennon tune, you know, never got made, right? I wonder, you know, when did he record it? John had recorded the tape in the 1970s, so after the Beatles, so what we've got here is John's left the Beatles, Beatles no longer, and he's writing a song. If this song had been good enough, he'd have put it on one of his albums, but he didn't. He just lay there. And the guy dies, you know. Now, as he was fading away, he may have well said, oh, I hope the other three guys get that tape so they can put it out as a record later on. He could have thought that, or he could have not thought that. In fact, this song could have had no intention at all of being a Beatles song, right? But this blurb here is sort of selling us on this idea. For years it looked like the song could never be completed. No, that's true, because John Lennon was dead. But in 2022, through a stroke of serendipity, I always like when serendipity strokes. It's always a good thing. A software system developed by Peter Jackson and his team. So old Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson's come to the rescue with his CGI wonder that brought us the incredible Hobbit film. You know, they used a lot of CGI in the original Lord of the Rings, didn't they? A lot, you know, but there was real actors in real places at some points, you know. But when, you know, and it's not as good, is it, as the three Hobbits film? They were real masterpieces, weren't they? You know, you might get forgiven to thinking you were watching a video game halfway through them, but this is the wonder of CGI. We should really CGI, AI, anything with I in it, right, is brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. And it was used throughout the production of the documentary series Get Back, which made us lots of money. Oh no, it doesn't say that, I just added that in, sorry. Finally opened the way for the uncoupling of John's vocal from the piano part. It's not uncoupled, AI is actually singing a new vocal part based upon what happened there. That vocal part is not John. It's not been uncoupled. Right, the AI now, the technology is actually able to guess at what was happening and replace it with its own version. That's why it's called AI, right? As a result, the original recording could be brought to life and worked on anew with contributions from all four Beatles. Even George Harrison's involved on this. This remarkable story of musical archaeology reflects the Beatles' endless creativity, curiosity and shared fascination with technology. That's why they did it, you see, not about the money. It marks the completion of the last recording that John, Paul, George and Ringo will get to make together and celebrates the legacy of the foremost and most influential band in popular music history. So, I cannot even remember the song now. You watched me react to it. Yeah, it's a nice song, but that song is what strikes me is we have this legacy, and this legacy, as I said, was created by young guys, right, looking to the future, writing songs, having a sort of a filter of quality. What do you think of this song? What do you think of that guy? Oh, let's try it out. And then they would play together in the same room and create magic. And we all know they created magic, and people are still going back to these bands because there's a magic there that's not necessarily in this computer generated music of today, where you don't capture the essence and uncontrolled chemistry between people, right? That's not to criticize modern music, but that is definitely not the case when you are stitching together tracks using computers and then just stretching things into time and re-synthesizing things to create these sounds. So you put this on, and one thing that strikes me, they are trying so hard to sound like the Beatles. Now, if truly the Beatles were still around, and there was truly still a creative force where like they were in the 60s, we would still be expecting them. And if they were still like 20 years old, they would be making something completely different. They would be looking to the future. But this song just drips of people that aren't necessarily the Beatles. They're computer programmers and producers using their know-how to fill this with cliches to make it sound like the brand, right? And to make it sound like those records that we heard that have that magic on. But the magic isn't there because this is all put together by computer. Everything has a modern sheen. So I'm listening to it thinking, is that Ringo on drums or is that some sort of simulated, you know, because they have packs now where you can just have your own Ringo, you know, the Beatles, you know, sample pack, and you can have your own Ringo anyway. And I can't tell the difference. And that really, that sort of, I don't know, cognitive dissonance between their production trying to make it sound like something which it absolutely isn't, right? So what it is a lie. In a way, it's a lie. Okay? Now, is there any way they could have got around this and not been that? But what they could have done is they could have brought in some new hit producer, maybe Kay Trinada, somebody like Kay Trinada. And they could have gone to him, or Matthew Tavares, who's a fan of this channel, and I'll tell him I've mentioned him. Matt, why didn't they send this vocal over to you? What would you have done with it? How would you made it contextually fit in the modern world? You know, would you have been there just trying to make it sound like an old Beatles records but with really nice production, or would you try to take it somewhere else? And that would have been far more interesting. But of course, they are so worried when they do this. They've got to step correctly. They've got to respect the legacy. The fans want to hear something that sounds like the Beatles. The Beatles have become a brand. They've become a dead form of music which cannot be built upon or expanded out, right? They have now become a museum piece that needs to be respected in a certain way. And that's what I just heard. And I absolutely don't care about that record. Right, the last time they did it, at least it was a little bit organic. You know, when they got Jeff Lynne in to stitch together Free as a Bird, you know. I'd rather have Free Bird by Lynyrd Skynyrd any day of the week. I love Lynyrd Skynyrd. They're all dead. What? They're going through their tape boxes. Seeing if Ricky Medlock's got a little bit of whistling he did, you know, while he was branding cows or whatever Lynyrd Skynyrd used to do when they were, you know, out on tour. You know, and then why can't we have a Lynyrd Skynyrd? You know, I tell you why, because there's no money there. Well, there's some money, but no, not like this. How many days has that come out? It's had 5 million views, right? So all of you who've got to the end of this video and you've seen this rather sarcastic, sardonic reaction and me here, and I literally am telling you, I'm here like a leech on that legacy, hoping that I will get some fans that don't normally come to my channel with the huge market out there of people who like the Beatles. Come to Andy's channel and maybe they'll watch this and they'll go, who the hell is this guy? Why is he being so horrible about my favourite band? I love the Beatles. I think they're great. Right, I'm glad that the two 80-year-olds that are still around, right, are able to do something. I'd rather than do something than nothing, I think, or not. I don't know. They've done something. You know, they probably feel like they're very up to date because they're using all this AI technology. But the next Beatles song that we get sold, they won't be on. Right? It will be AI. Peter Jackson of Lord of the Rings fame has created a new plug-in, an advancement on his scraping the barrel. This one's called making a whole new barrel out of the old barrel. And all it has to do is listen to Beatles. The AI sits there and listens to all the Beatles albums and goes, I think I can do better than that. And then they'll just produce a Beatles song that has all the elements of all the best Beatles songs. It'll be better. It'll actually be better, won't it? You know, because it'll be able to say, oh, I like that bit from there. Let's have a string section from Eleanor Rigby, and let's have the drum beat from Tomorrow Never Knows. How about that? And stick those together. And how about the guitar solo Eric Clapton did on While My Guitar Gently Weeps? That was good. We could put that bit in there. Let's stitch it all together. You know, put all these bits down on the big table. Then we'll stitch it all up. And then we'll stick that big thing through the roof, and then the lightning will strike it, won't it? You know, and then the producers can sit there like Frankenstein-like as this Beatles monster comes up, you know, and sings forth something which all the fans will then lap up because they'll have been told this is the new thing and this is the way the Beatles are now. If they were still alive, this is what they would want to do. I can't believe it. They made an album with Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley's made an album with the Beatles. It's bloody brilliant. It's brilliant. They've got John Bonham on drums. They've got like... what's his name off Marvin Gaye's album, the bass player? Oh, I see. I was on a roll then, and then I tried to think of something that was a bit beyond my aged brain. James Jamerson on bass. Let's get James Jamerson on bass. We'll get John Bonham on drums. Who should we have? Jimi Hendrix on guitar. We'll have Jimi Hendrix on guitar. Who else? Who should we have on keyboards? Let's have Liberace on keyboards. You know, Liberace on keyboards. Then we'll have the Beatles in there. They'll write the song, but they haven't really written the song. But the IA will make out like the Beatles. They're the songwriters. They could do all the harmony back vocals, and have Elvis do the main vocals. But John Lennon and Paul, they could stick some stuff in as well every now and then. And who should we get to produce it? They get Phil Spector to produce it. I know he's a murderer, but he's dead now. And they're dead, and there's money to be made. It's all about making money. We live in a capitalist society, and I like capitalism. I think it's good. But let's at least be honest about this, right? 5 million views, they made a ton of money, right? That's going to sit there and make money for them. That is what this is about. This is what I'm about. It's all about the money. We're only in it for the money. There was an artist called Frank Zappa, and when the Beatles came out with Sgt. Pepper, he parodied that with an album called We're Only in It for the Money. I thought that was a bit mean, because Sgt. Pepper's one of the greatest albums ever made. But as with many things, maybe Frank just could see into the future, perhaps. Anyway, if you like this video, like it, right? Because that'll help the algorithm. If you want to see more, then you can subscribe, right? And the thing is, there's currency in your subscriptions. Oh, Andy, have you got a YouTube? Yeah. How many subscribers have you got? They always ask that now, not how many views, it's subscribers. How many subscribers have you got? I got 18,000. Oh, that's not bad, that's not bad. I want 100,000. Rick Beato's got 5 million or something, right? Now, come on, and I know Rick watches the channel, and he'll watch something on the Beatles. So, Rick, if you're watching this, right, put a comment in down below. Go on, you could do it, because it'll help the algorithm, it'll help me. Oh, Rick Beato, he did it once before, we did it on my Nuno Betancourt video. If he puts another one, it helps me, it helps the algorithm, then people start watching me all make money. This is the way it works. This is the way it works. So come on, press a subscription. Rick, you press a subscription, because then I'll be able to see, or I'll log into YouTube and say, new subscriber, Rick Beato, 5 million. Oh my God, that'll be amazing. I'll tell all my mates, I'll put it on Facebook. Oh, and it'll help me, it'll make me money. It's all about making money, you see. And then if you want to really help me make money, you can become a patron down below. Click on the Patreon and go over to the money-making funnel and tunnel that's Patreon. And if you just want to give me money for no reason, I have a YouTube tip jar, right? So if you want to just part with your cash and give it to me in the same way you are when you go and watch that Beatles video, right, then please, send your money. I want money. That's what I want. Who did that? That wasn't the Beatles, was it? Who did that? Did they do that? I know they did Taxman, right? Who did Money? See, I'm not very good on that sort of early 60s. Is it early 60s? I know the Flying Lizards did a re-version of Money, a new version of Money in the late 70s. That's the one I know, you see. I love that. The Flying Lizards, they were a cool band. Why aren't they going through their legacy? Why aren't they finding these lizards and going through their tapes and finding some song that they'd whistled and, reconstituting that? Because there's no money to be made. It's all about the money. 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 It's all about the money.